A little more now, I think, from Germanwings. We're going to hear a little bit more from a press conference that's just been going on. Here we go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce myself first. I'm the Vice President for Sales and Services of Lufthansa in Europe. This is a very tragic moment for our company, for Lufthansa, and also its subsidiary Germanwings. And first and foremost, I would like to express my sincere condolences for the families and relatives of the passengers of the flight of Germanwings 9525 on its way from Barcelona to Düsseldorf this morning. The information that we have so far, the aircraft suffered an accident above the French Alps at around 11 o'clock local time. According to our information, there were 144 passengers on board of this aircraft. It was an Airbus A320 and 6 crew members. 2 crew members in the cockpit and 4 cabin crew members. Everyone at Lufthansa and Germanwings is currently deeply shocked and saddened by these events. There's not too much of information that I can give to you right now, but please be assured that for Lufthansa it's of greatest importance to now focus on the investigation of this accident. Before I give some further details, I would also like to express my thanks to the Ministry Interior, which I just met in a meeting, the Subsecretario of Infrastructure here from Spain, and also Consejer of Interior Catalonia. In addition, of course, the great support of AENA at the airport. In such a moment, this is really important to us because they can help us in the investigation and also in the logistics. For the time being, I cannot give you any information about the nationalities on board of that aircraft, as we cannot just assume by a name whether somebody has a Spanish origin or a German one or another nationality. Be assured, as soon as this information is available, which should be sometimes tonight, we will disclose this information. I have a few more details about the aircraft as such, in case that is relevant for you or you would like to know. The Airbus A320 had its first flight on the 29th of November in 1990. Lufthansa took it into service in 1991, and it was sold to Germanwings, the subsidiary of Lufthansa, in January 2014. The actual flight hours of that aircraft are 58,313, and this aircraft is mainly focusing on short continental flights. The last routine check by Lufthansa Technical Services was done in Düsseldorf just yesterday on the 23rd of March 2015. The aircraft was supposed to start at 9:35 this morning. The actual local starting time was 10:01, and it was supposed to land at 11:55 local time. At present, there is a recovery team together with Lufthansa and the authorities at the scene. And we do hope that we will have some further information later on this evening. We will do our utmost to also support the relatives and the friends of these passengers on board. We are now looking into options and possibilities to bring them to the scene, which is not yet confirmed, so we'll have to see whether that makes sense, whatever can be done from that side. We believe that it's now the most important thing to get the information to the relatives and friends, and that is our main focus as well, to support them all wherever they are and whichever nationality they have. As soon as we have more information, we'll also give it to you in the press. For the time being, there's not a lot more that I could tell you at this point.
Toll-free number?
Maybe just to add again, we have a toll-free number that we have disclosed for the Spanish market. Isn't that only for relatives? Which is 900-808-890, and it's also published in the communication. We have a special telephone number for the relatives and friends, because we'd like to look after them very specifically, and of course they might have other questions than the public. For the time being, that's really everything that I can tell you. I don't know whether there are any questions. Yes?
I just ask a clarification. You used the word accident in the statement. Are you saying it was an accident, or are you ruling out any other possibility?
For the time being, we say it's an accident. There's nothing more that we can say right now. Everything else would be a speculation.
Why did the plane leave late?
We don't have this information.
We do not have this information right now.
You don't have that information? I mean, it's been 6 or 7 hours since the plane was due to depart. Why don't you know why your plane didn't leave half an hour earlier and on time? Was it a boarding issue? Was it a technical issue? Were there some technical checks that showed up? Was it a baggage issue? Was it just getting a slot?
I would just like to be more precise about my answer. I personally don't know why we were half an hour late. So I'm quite sure that within our operational team we have the reasons for being late.
How soon can you tell us that basic answer? It's a basic question.
Is Monza da?
Yeah, aber later today.
We will have that information right after the press conference here.
Is it right that you find the black box yet?
We cannot comment.
I cannot comment on that right now.
Sorry, what about the flight? Can you tell us something about the flight?
I'm sorry, I cannot say anything about that because everything would be speculation.
Germanwings has been explained something about the flight. Germanwings this morning.
Pardon?
Germanwings this morning have explained something about this flight or the difficulties.
I cannot comment on that. Das war das, was er nicht sagen sollte.
Confirm or deny there was a mayday call from the plane? Because there's been conflicting reports about that.
This is why exactly I cannot confirm it yet, because we are waiting for the investigation, and only then we would disclose this information if it's really clear and 100% so that we can disclose it.
Have you already informed all the relatives of the passengers?
You might know the information that we have about passengers is their names. We have, of course, the list. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have all the addresses and relatives, but there were many relatives that contacted us. And then it's usually the case that we verify whether they are connected to know that these ones are relatives.
You said you wanted to try to bring the families to the accident place where it took place. How will you take them there? By plane, by train, by bus?
I just said this is something that we will clarify later on this evening, whether it makes sense to bring them there, because we don't know the scene right now. It is in the French Alps, so therefore the area is difficult to access. So we don't know yet whether it makes sense to do that. And this will be investigated tonight, and we will then inform the relatives about the options for tomorrow.
Are the relatives at the airport?
The relatives are partly at the airport, some others are in hotels, and we have, of course, some contact numbers of those relatives that already made us aware about them.
Are you working with the law enforcement agencies in the relevant countries to check who was on the flight?
Once again?
Are you working with the law enforcement agencies in the relevant countries to check who was on the flight?
At our headquarters, our colleagues there are investigating, and they have their respective contacts in the respective markets in order to get that information.
How many relatives are here in the airport waiting for this transport? And do you know if all the passengers who booked this flight finally flight?
About the relatives, I mean, there are relatives and friends here at the airport, so therefore I cannot give you exactly the amount of relatives. There were about 150 people that we just talked to just half an hour ago.
So that's Lufthansa's Vice President for Europe, HEIKE BIRLENBACH, presiding over that press conference in Barcelona Airport. With me, watching